You're watching once again a YouTube video presentation of the University of Wyoming Center on Aging. I'm Scott Veach. I'm your host, and on this program we'll be discussing topics of interest for caregivers of loved ones with dementia. We hope that you will subscribe to the channel and you'll hit that thumbs up like button. Both of those actions help the channel to grow and allow us to reach more people. And if you'll tap that notification bell, you'll be alerted each time we upload a new program. And now, this is Once Again. Our guest today is Jeff Grant. He is the Unintentional Injury Prevention Coordinator with the Wyoming Department of Health. And this is actually part 2 of our discussion. We hope that if you haven't already, you'll take a moment and go back and take a look at part 1, which was posted a couple of weeks prior to this one on our Wyoming Dementia Together Once Again website here on our YouTube channel. We were talking about injury prevention, some fast facts about falls, a lot of good information, and the thinkfirst.org website. That was all mentioned in part 1, and we're going to continue the discussion in part 2. We were talking about falls before, Jeff. Now, after a fall, what's next? You talked about 4 different things in your presentation to our group back in January. You talked about assessing, getting help, getting up, and calling your doctor. So let's tackle that first one, and assessment. How do we do that?
Well, the first thing is if you fall, you want to kind of lay there and gather your thoughts together to find out, maybe move your arms around a little bit to see if you're hurt, your legs a little bit to see if you're hurt, really kind of get your bearings back to make sure that you are okay to try to get up. If you feel like you're okay to get up, then there's kind of a series of how to get up: rolling over, getting on all fours, maybe grabbing a chair, kind of slowly working your way up from that chair, turn around, sitting down, make sure that you're not busy. But immediately after that is you want to call somebody, whether it be a family member or a doctor, and get an appointment and get in to just be on the safe side to check to see if you're okay.
And you can actually practice getting up, can't you?
Yeah, there's it's real simple. And I'll try to describe it real fast. But if you fall down, the first thing you want to do is whichever way that you're facing, you want to roll that way. Okay. Then you want to basically try to crawl, get up on all fours, use your strongest leg. If you can get to a chair or something that you can balance yourself with, get to a chair, hands on the chair, lift one leg up, stand on that leg, with both hands on the chair, turn, sit down, and be comfortable for just a few minutes again to get your bearings. So I know it's a fast way to say it. It's easier to demonstrate, but I think kind of get the picture.
I would imagine too that one of the things you'd have to fight is panicking.
Yeah. People want to know, is there a way to stop a fall? Well, the problem with falls is we get so scared that we panic. Are there better ways to fall? Absolutely. Falling and trying to become loose, so you're not sticking your arm out, trying to brace yourself with just your hand or your wrist, where you might break your hand, break your arm. You try to spread your body out as far as you can to eliminate landing on one pressure point, so to speak. Yeah, there's lots of different ways to do that.
How do you know if a fall is serious enough that you should continue it and seek help?
I would always say err on the side of precaution. If you fall and you think you're hurt, then get checked out. Now if it's just a simple, you trip, you caught yourself, and you think you're okay, then okay, probably. But if you fall and hit your head, I would highly recommend you getting checked out, simply because of concussion might not show up for, a few hours. So you want to get checked out. If you hit your head at all, I would highly recommend it getting checked out. Call your physician, maybe call the paramedics, have them come and just check you out, take you in and just get checked out.
Yeah, you mentioned something that I thought was really interesting and wanted to follow up on, and that is that maybe you won't hurt until the next day, right? I mean, it could take a little while.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't feel the pain. Weightlifters call it DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, which is kind of,
Mm.
when you work out real hard, you're great that day, but the next day your muscles are sore. So there's a delayed onset. So sometimes you're feeling like, oh, I'm okay. And the next morning you're like, I might have had a spiral fracture of a wrist or something like that, that you really didn't feel at that time, but later on you're starting to feel some pain. So don't don't brush it off. Get checked out.
And is swelling a sign, I would think, too?
Yes, if you're swelling anywhere, definitely go in and get that checked out.
Hmm. One of the things that you discussed in your talk last January to our group, this is personal experience. You speak from personal experience on that, and I wondered if you could take a couple of minutes here today and relate that personal story of yours.
Yeah, so it was about 7 years ago, give or take. Just an average, typical day. I went into work, feeling fine, and out of nowhere, the only way I can describe it is I felt like I got hit in the back of the head with a 2x4. And all of a sudden, just I was super dizzy. I tried to get up, I couldn't get up, and I fell down, and I couldn't get my bearings. And then I started to get sick. Well, as I was in my office and I was trying to yell for help, because I couldn't get back up, and lo and behold, being a former EMT paramedic, I knew what was going on. I was having a stroke.
Mhm.
And I knew simply because as I tried to yell, I couldn't speak. And so I knew, and I could feel my face. So I knew what was happening while I couldn't speak. So I was trying to get up, get some help, and I couldn't yell for help. And so what I did was basically just crawled to my desk and I threw my printer off the desk and it crashed onto the floor. And my coworkers heard it and said, "What's going on in that office over there?" And being as I couldn't speak, they came over to check me out. And that's when I was on the floor. And that's another thing. If you fall, calling somebody, but what happens if you can't call somebody? What are the things you do? And this is basically what I did is I started throwing things, making as much noise as you can, bang a pot, bang a pan, throw a glass, whatever to make a loud noise to get somebody's attention. So, and that's what happened to me is I threw my printer on the floor. I got the attention that I needed. They came in. Sure enough, I had what was called a series of mini strokes. I had 7 mini strokes, all at one time.
Wow.
So, but luckily I'm okay. Um, I got taken to the emergency room, got checked out, did all my tests, and got put on medication, and I'm okay. I'm okay today. So.
Our guest is Jeff Grant. He's an unintentional injury prevention coordinator with the Wyoming Department of Health. You're watching once again a YouTube video presentation of the University of Wyoming Center on Aging. If you haven't done so already, we hope that you will subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up like button. Both of those actions help the channel to grow and allow us to reach more people. And if you'll tap that notification bell, you'll be alerted each time we upload new content. We talked a little bit about this last in part one, Jeff, but I wanted to know, can you actually prepare for a fall? Like if you live alone, particularly, what could you do?
A lot of things that you can do is, well, a lot of the bigger cities actually, and even some of the small ones, you can call the fire department and they can come and check your house out. But one of the things I would highly recommend is just doing a house check. As we're younger, we don't think about the clutter on the floor, our shoes laying on the floor, um, or tables crossing the road, or excuse me, the floor, or slippery rugs. These are things that we want to check out as we get older, just to make sure our house is quote unquote trip proof. And it might be moving a chair to a certain area where there's no cords underneath it. In the kitchen, if you have rugs that are slippery, get rid of them. Make sure that you have night lights set up outside in the hallway that if you get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, that you can see out in the hallway, that if you're going to walk out there, that there's your dog's not laying there or your shoes aren't laying there, that you can step over them and see them. Lots of little things that you can do, to trip-proof your house, for the hallways, for the kitchen, for the bathroom. Every single room in the kitchen, make sure things that you use are close to you. If you're using the blender a lot, make sure that the blender is close to you. Make sure the microwave is close to you. Have steady step stools that you don't have to use a chair to stand on. Lots of little things that you can do. And the Think First has different worksheets that talk about things that you can do. So that's great.
Let's talk about that worksheet. If you've had a fall and you go to see your physician, what are the things that he needs to know that you need to be sure and mention?
Lots of different things that you want to talk about. First thing is, make sure that you tell them that you have fallen. Where did you fall? How did you fall? When was the last? Is this the first fall you had? If not, when was the last time that you fell? Are there any injuries? Everything that you can tell the doctor helps them pinpoint exactly what's going on. But basically, and also what I might recommend is take somebody with you. A lot of times the doctor will tell you stuff and you're so fixated on one thing that you might not pick up on the thing that the doctor says. And I kind of joke that when I take my wife with me, my wife's so much smarter than I am. She hears everything the doctor says. I, as a man, only hear what I want to hear. I might hear that you're in good shape. Well, but I don't hear the but. I just hear that you're in good shape. But take somebody with you and explain exactly, where did you fall? When did you fall? Did you fall on your hip? Did you fall on your arms? Things like that. There's a worksheet that you can take. Write down the questions before you go that you want to ask the doctor so you don't forget anything. Then that will kind of help you out, and it might actually spark another question that you can help ask the doctor.
This may seem like an obvious one, but you need to make an appointment as soon as possible. Is there any reason to delay?
No, there's no reason. If you fall down, I would highly recommend getting into the doctor as fast as possible. The sooner you can get in there, the sooner you can get treated. And if it might be a medication issue, one of the other things that you take talking to your doctor, make sure that you take all your medication in there. It might be some form of pill that you have for arthritis that's making you dizzy. That do we need to change this medication to help you not be dizzy anymore? Lots of little things that you could talk to your doctor about, but I would highly recommend getting in as soon as possible.
So much information to talk about, Jeff. We hope that those who are watching, if you haven't already checked out part 1, you will do so. That has already been posted to the channel. As we wrap things up today, I want to go back and mention the website, and that is thinkfirst.org. Tell us a little bit about that. What kind of information can they find there?
ThinkFirst.org, it's an evidence-based program, has different modules for different age groups, but the one specifically for falls prevention talks about ways to prevent falls, things, why falls happen, information. One of the things that I talk about is Wyoming specific, but things that we can do to prevent falls, what to do, how to get up. If you can't get up, here's things to do. Lots of different, lot of really, really good information that it has. It has worksheets talking to your physician. Fall fast facts for falls talks about little things that you might not have known. Who is at risk? What to do if you fall? Older adults, children, stuff like that. Lots of good information.
The website is thinkfirst.org. We will have the link to it in the description box below. Jeff Grand is our guest. He is the Unintentional Injury Prevention Coordinator with the Wyoming Department of Health. Jeff, thanks so much for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
You've been watching once again a YouTube video presentation of the University of Wyoming Center on Aging. We hope if you haven't done so already that you'll subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up like button. Both of those actions help the channel to grow and allow us to reach more people. And if you'll tap that notification bell, you'll be alerted each time we upload a new video. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Scott Veach. We'll see you again next time.